Hey Elizabeth, all right, here's your harness lesson. We're going to start with the breast strap. You always start from the front of the harness and work back for control. And then of course the last thing you do is going to hitch to the cart. So you start at the front. The only thing, I'm not going to put the head stall on. Taxi, we always just let him graze or whatever while we were putting everything else on. But I'm going to put the head stall on last. But this is the breast strap. Works just like a breast collar on a saddle. This is my horse Dallas. He's never worn a harness before, but he won't care. Walk up. So this is just going to hang like this over his withers. Look over. The important thing for this is the strap needs to hit right at the chest. If you get it up too high, cut off his breathing. You get it too low, obviously it's going to fall down by his legs. Now this is a little bit high for Dallas, but it's adjusted for Taxi, so I'm not going to change it for you. But anyway, these are where you let it out on both sides. You could let it down. It probably needs to sit right about here, right on the point of his chest there. So that's pretty simple, straightforward. That's how that goes on. All right, next we have what they call as the saddle. Basically a surcingle. But the hook is going to go at the front. It sits on same exact area as you'd set a saddle. It needs to sit just right behind his withers. And then it buckles. Now you'll see there's two straps. The first, this is what's going to tighten it down. That's the actual belly strap. And then this is what keeps your cuffs from bouncing. Now before you lock that down, you want to put the crupper on. And what I do is just slide this way back. Open the crupper up. Take his tail. Put it through there very gently and pull it up. This is really, really important that you make sure none of the hairs are underneath it. Make sure all of them are up and over it, because if those pull, it's going to tick him off and then who knows what will happen. So that just should sit real comfortably under the dock of the tail with all the hair out of the way. And once that's there, then you can pull the saddle up to where it goes. Again, because this is fitted for Taxi, it's a little short front to back. I would need to let it out a couple of notches, but I'm not going to. And then the next thing you do is buckle it just like you would a saddle. It doesn't have to be as tight as a saddle, because obviously there's not going to be any side to side pull, but it needs to be snug. Now the keeper, which is this top ring, needs to be pretty tight, because your shafts for your cart are going to sit in these loops right here, these cuffs. And the looser this is, the more that can bounce and the bumpier your ride will be. So this needs to be tight. Might need to punch a couple holes in that. If I remember right, on Taxi it was a little bit loose. So that's that, pretty plain and simple. Next we have the breeching. This is very, very important part of the harness. It's called breeching because it goes on their butt just like pants, breeches. You can't see probably, but there's a loop in the strap right here. This breeching needs to pass through there, because that's what's going to keep this in place. Now, this is the most important part of your rig, because this is your brakes. This strap needs to hit him right in the point of his butt. If you get it too low, it can knock his legs under him. You get it too high, it goes up under the tail or comes off, and then you have problems. So it's really important that that hits right about in the middle of the butt. This should be level, and these buckles have lots of different adjustments so you can get this to hang level, so you can play with that. Should be about right. make sure that it's nice and level from all directions. Again, here you want this strap coming right off the top of the hip. Get it too far back and it can fall off. Get it too far forward and then you lose your brakes. So it needs to be pretty square of a corner, this strap down, this strap straight across, right at the point of the hip. This is hanging just a little bit low. It should be about there actually, but again, it's adjusted for Titus. Go, this isn't about you. Go, Titus, go. Okay? So this is your bridging, your crupper, your saddle, and your breast strap. Pretty straightforward. Now these things right here are the most important part of your brakes. These are called the keep back straps. And when you have your harness on, these need to be tight, tight, tight. You'll find on the shafts of your harness, there'll be like a loop or a hole or a buckle or something, some kind of place that these can fit through. And what happens is if you're going downhill, the cart will roll forward on him. You want these to catch so that the cart doesn't slam into his butt. So you're going to adjust your cart so that the kick bar, there should be a horizontal bar right here. It should have 22 inches of clearance from his hock to that kick bar. So at this point in the harnessing, you would go ahead, roll your cart up. If it's a two-wheel cart, Taxi, we had a four-wheel wagon, so he had to actually step into it. So I would take him up beside the shafts. He would side pass into them, and then we would say up, 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 so he would know they were coming. But you can also let them down over their back this way. Once you get the cart rolled 22 inches from here, you're going to adjust these, and these are super, super, super long. So I usually did like a figure 8 through the shafts, and then loop these several times and then buckle them. That way, even if the leather gave way some way, that it wouldn't just pop and come loose. It would have to unravel all those wraps to come loose. So those need to be super, super tight. This needs to be tight against his butt. This needs to be really tight to your shafts. If there's any play in this, every time he slows down or goes down a hill, the cart's going to ride forward and slap him in the butt, and that makes him goose and go faster, which is not what you want happening when they're going down a hill. So this, very, 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 very crucial that those are in there good and tight, like that, to your shafts. Next you have the tugs and the lines. These are your tugs. This is what's going to hook you to your cart. This is, everything gets pulled on this. Move over. Move over. Over. Good. Right here is where you're going to buckle in your tugs. This comes through here. Buckles to there. And then it's going to go right up here and hook to your cart. So that's actually what's pulling the weight of your cart, is this breast strap. So you always want to check the breast strap to make sure that there's no wear or anything that could break, because this is everything that pulls with this light kind of harness. Everything comes from these tugs. So you want to check those. And what I do is put all this on him and then cross it over his back before I put the cart on, because I don't want to have to mess with a lot of stuff once the cart's there. You kind of have to move quickly. Alright, then we have the head stall, which of course is just like a riding bridle. Blinkers, I used to think that they weren't important, like for a horse like Taxi that's not afraid of anything, but it really keeps them going straight down the road and just makes the ride so much better because they're not looking all over. The only thing you have to remember, anytime they have this on, they can't see you. So like when you get down off the cart and you approach them, I always tell them coming around or easy buddy or whatever, but just remember you can get kicked really easy when they have their bridle on because they can't see you. So you just always want to let them know where you are, especially when you're getting in and out. I'm not going to put this bridle on him because it doesn't fit. Okay, then your lines or your reins, of course, they just attach to the bit, just like on a regular bridle. So you would put that on them. You always have to detach the lines each time. And then you'll notice at the middle they buckle. And you have to undo all this. So you're going to take your line, attach it to the ring. I don't know what kind of bit. We always just use that simple loose ring snaffle on Taxi and it was enough. I don't know as he's gotten older if he needs more, probably not. But this is pretty self-explanatory. You go from the bit through this ring. You want to make sure everything lays flat and isn't twisted. Through the ring on the breast strap to the ring on the saddle. And then I just lay this over this hook right here while I'm putting the other one on. And then you want to buckle them together so that when you're on your cart and you're holding your reins, you hold them just like if you're riding a horse English. Okay, so you hold them like that. And you want to steer just like a good rider, keeping your elbows in and quiet. I know when I was learning to drive, my arms were going everywhere, but you just like a good rider. Same amount of tension, you want to have feel on the bit, but not jerking, you know how to ride. So basically that's the same. So you get both your lines on, hook your tugs up, and you're good to go. This harness and bridle does not have an overcheck on it. Go. It's got a place for it, but I never used it because we're hilly and I wanted him to be able to put his head down to really get into the hills. So we've never used any kind of overcheck. And that's what this hook right here is for, but this bridle, now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't even have an overcheck strap on it. So somebody might ask you why you're not using an overcheck. We don't use one and it didn't come with one, so there you have it. So anyway, yeah, let me see. Let's see if we can drive this guy. Same manners as riding, no moving allowed until you tell him to walk off. All the time you're getting on. You can just practice having somebody hold him and you say whoa, whoa, whoa until you get on and are ready to go. Let's see if we can do this. So once you're in your cart, hands are like this. Walk, walk. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good. So that's basically it. Now I want to keep my harness and drive this one. He seems to be okay with this.